Hey folks, hope you're ready for a wild ride because I've got a crazy story to share. I'm Rosemary, 32, female, and let me spill all the juicy gossip over here since my friends are tired of me repeating this story at parties. I'm sure by the end of it you'll agree with me when I tell them, how can I not? This shit is crazy. So you've probably heard of those mother-in-laws who are super weird about their sons, right? The women who breed the mama's boys, the ones who can't seem to let them go and almost act as if they're in a relationship with them. Well, imagine that. But instead of it being your mother-in-law, it's your sister-in-law. Crazy, right? Let me set the scene. My husband, Royce, and I met when he and his family were on holiday in my home country, South Africa. They were visiting Table Mountain, and I was there with some of my girls for some good old-fashioned bonding time. At first, I didn't even notice Royce on our trail, but as we returned from the hike and back down to the restaurant to unwind and enjoy ourselves, he started staring at me from across the room. Eventually, he was bold enough to start making his way towards our table just to chat, buying us drinks, you name it, anything to butter us, me, up. My friends were telling me he was super cute and that I should give it a shot, and he was agreeing with them, laying on the charm pretty thick. I was being flattered, of course, and I found his attempts endearing. Eventually, though, when he would spend more than 10 minutes at our table, I noticed that his sister Brooke would come as well, forcing him to get back to their own table. "Hi, ladies. You all look gorgeous." "Oh, thank you. You look beautiful as well." "I'm so sorry about my idiot brother." "Hey!" "He has a knack for embarrassing us. Honestly, we're thinking of not inviting him for the next family event." "Oh, are you saying he normally does this? He's always flirting with random women when he's on vacation." "No!" "Yes." We all started laughing, everyone except Brooke. When Royce would tell her he wanted to stay and chat with us a bit more, she would get pissed, stomping back to her table with the rest of their family, who didn't seem to mind Royce's absence at all, mind you, glaring at us. I thought she was just trying to be gracious, avoiding family embarrassment and letting us enjoy ourselves without Royce all up in our business. But with hindsight, I can see that she was just clearly jealous. Let me tell you, the drama unfolds from there. Royce and I had a bit of a summer fling, you could say, just enjoying each other's company for the duration of his stay. We didn't even entertain the idea of anything working out long term because, well, he was from America and I was still living in South Africa. Long-distance relationships always suck, right? So we said we'd just be casual, no strings attached, and we did just that. When he went back to the States, I thought that would be the last I ever heard from the guy, but life has a funny way of proving us wrong sometimes. As if it was written in the stars or something, a couple of years later I found myself in Cincinnati doing some work for the charity I was involved with. I had just turned 30 and my life was turning out exactly as I had planned. I was on cloud 9 and no one could stop me. At the time, I didn't think that a man was in the cards for me because I was always business-oriented. Running a catering business was no small feat, and I was set to do this till the day I died because cooking was my passion. I wanted to spread love, joy, and hearty meals all across South Africa and eventually all over the world, and this was the first step in globalizing my mission. Come to find out, one of the keynote speakers for the seminar was none other than Royce. When we saw each other, we were speechless, and I felt all those emotions flooding back. Needless to say, after the event, we went out for drinks to catch up. Before you knew it, we were fitting ourselves into each other's schedules and hanging out more and more. He just got me, you know. We fit like two peas in a pod, and I couldn't have been happier. He made me feel like that Katy Perry song, Teenage Dream. I was set to stay in the States for a couple more months, but he convinced me to stay longer, telling me that he was slowly falling for me and that he wanted us to be together. I reminded him about our locations because I was falling for him too. I had to keep my head straight. I wasn't about to let this guy come into my life and mess up my plans. But damn it! If this man didn't use some juju on me, then I don't know what was going on, because I was also falling in love with him. Before the end of the year, I was convinced that I had fallen way too deep and had to put a stop to it before my heart got completely broken. We can't do this. Why not? We can make it work. Listen, I've had my heart broken before, and I'm not going to let that happen again. Long distance is the worst. Are you really going to live your life like that, scared to try new things because, well, they're scary? You deserve happiness, Rosemary, and I want to give you everything this world has to offer. We can make this work. We'll find a way. We eventually settled on living in the States for a couple of years, starting a family there and then moving to South Africa down the line, especially when we were ready to retire. However, just because we were living in the States, we said that we would visit South Africa as much as possible, especially with any future kids, so that they don't forget their roots. It sounded like a solid plan, and I was ready to risk it all with this man. With my already established connections in the States, it was easier for me to transition into catering full-time here. Besides, living here full-time was going to help me spread my business far and wide. Royce needed some more time to make some South African connections for our move to be seamless, so that's why we stuck with America for now. Before we knew it, we were saying our vows and everything seemed to be going well for us. But Brooke was always in the corner, complaining and acting a fool. I was getting sick of her antics, wondering why she was so annoying. Royce told me that being the last born and the only girl in the family, she was always treated like a princess. It made sense, I guess. And I decided to keep our interactions limited because I couldn't handle her. She was just so bitter and annoying. She'd always complain, especially during the wedding preparations. She was acting more of a bridezilla than I was, and it wasn't even her day. Her complaints were always around Royce and how unavailable he'd become. She'd even joke around, saying that I had stolen Royce away from her, but it always rubbed me the wrong way. What sort of sister says something like that about their brothers? She's a weird lady, I'll tell you that. What really set me off was when she wanted to come with us on our honeymoon and stay in the same resort, saying that she also needed a vacation. She was just weird like that, you know. Of course we rejected her suggestion, and as the spoiled princess she was, she threw a tantrum, saying she wouldn't come to the wedding. Everyone was sick of her acting that way, so we all just started ignoring her, the same way you'd ignore an annoying kid. When she saw that we weren't falling for her crap, she would sulk, but eventually come around when she realized that no one was going to coddle her. She even came late to the wedding, no doubt wanting to stir the pot, but again we were all ignoring her BS and enjoying ourselves. My wedding day was beautiful, and I managed to focus on what was truly important. After we returned from our honeymoon and were settling into married life, we came home to find that Royce's mom had gifted us a freaking house. Can you believe it? We were over the moon and beyond grateful, but of course Brooke just couldn't share in our happiness. Camille! Oh, please, still with the Camille. Call me Mom, for God's sake. Oh, Mom, I don't even know what to say. Say you'll accept it. You deserve it. You two have made me so happy, and don't worry, I've made sure there's enough space so that when you two have little ones, you won't have to worry about a thing. Oh, come on, Mom. What? It's about time I got some grandbabies. Lord knows your sister doesn't have much time left. I'm right here, Mom. It's not my fault my boyfriend doesn't want to take things to the next level. Thank you so much for this. As a thank you for being so thoughtful, I decided to host a family dinner party and bring everyone together. I was on the verge of disinviting Brooke because I wasn't in the mood for the drama, and I didn't want to have to resage my house to get rid of her bad vibes, but decided against it because I didn't want to be mean. With the way the night went, I wish I had listened to my gut. Everyone was complimenting the food at the dinner table, saying how amazing it was to taste South African culture. Brooke, however, was being an ass, saying some rude and, dare I say, racist things about the food. We were all getting sick of her mouth when Royce had enough. He just yelled at Brooke and told her to go home if she wasn't happy. Yikes. It just seems like a peasant food. Excuse me? Brooke, what is wrong with you? Oh, I didn't mean any harm. I'm just saying it's not my taste, you know. I'm used to eating fancier things. Good to know. Next time I'll make a special dish just for you. Oh, don't worry. You don't need to do that. I guess I'll just stomach this. Enough. Royce, don't yell. No, Mom, I'm sick of her BS. Why do you always have to act like this? Like what? Like a spoiled brat. It's disgusting. Royce, how could you say that to me? I'm your baby sis. Yeah, you're my baby sister, but you're not a baby. We're like 30 minutes apart, damn it. If you don't like it here, then you can just leave. Really, Royce? You're kicking me out? You can't be serious. I've never been more serious in my life. You will not disrespect my wife. Not in this house, not ever. I don't know what's wrong with your taste buds. This food is so good, and you know it. But if you're not happy, you're more than welcome to leave. Now shut up and let me get back to eating before my chakalaka and pap. For the first time in what seemed like a very long time, Brooke had shut up. My man had read her for filth, and I was living for every moment of it. She shut up and went back to eating, not participating in the conversation. She even went back for seconds. Can you believe the nerve of that girl? The night ended with her awkwardly making up an excuse to leave early, and then she left. Camille told Royce that he had gone too far, but he didn't give a damn, and neither did I. Well, a couple of years had passed, and I was now 32. For the past year, after that dinner party I held, I had been catering for my mother-in-law because she was so impressed with my food. You see, my mother-in-law was known for hosting the best parties in town, inviting all these rich people to invest in her businesses. She had connections everywhere, and she was well respected within the community because of all the charity work she did. She had a very big house, and a lot of people dreamed of being invited to one of those parties just to get a glimpse of her perfect life. She would host 2 big parties in a year, one in the summer and a New Year's party as well. The first time Camille had asked me to cater, everything was perfect. My ego was boosted seeing all the people at the party go back for seconds, even thirds. At the end of the night, Camille came to me and gave me the biggest hug ever, telling me that she was so glad that Royce had married someone so talented. I swear this food is amazing. How do you do it? You keep impressing me every time I taste your cooking. What can I say? I have a great team behind me. They're the real heroes of the night. Oh, there you go, being humble again. Just wait, Missy. You're destined for great things. I didn't think it was that good. Here we go again. Brooke, can we just enjoy ourselves without you bitching and moaning, please? Rosemary's food is literally the best I've ever tasted. This seemed to sting Brooke quite a bit. I thought my cooking was the best you ever tasted. That was before I met Rosemary. Nothing even comes close. Ugh, whatever. I'm leaving. This party is dead. As usual, we would dismiss Brooke's antics and go back to enjoying ourselves. The night ended with Camille telling me she wanted me to host her New Year's party that same year. Of course, I agreed, and everything seemed to be set in a plan. I was upping my reputation as a trustworthy business. My in-laws loved me, except Brooke, but I didn't care. And I was living life with the love of my life on our way to extending our family. Nothing could have been better for me. Just as was promised, I was set to cater my mother-in-law's New Year's party, and I paid extra detail to everything this time around. not wanting to screw anything up and wanting to outdo myself from last time. But the strangest thing happened that night. My business experienced something we'd never faced before. Looking around the party, people's plates were still full, and they weren't even going back for seconds. When I told Royce about it, he told me not to worry because people were focused on partying. But as the night went on, he also noticed how people weren't eating as much. Camille approached me, and she wasn't looking happy. She seemed embarrassed because her party was being ruined with seemingly bad food. She came up to me with a plate in hand and asked me to take a bite of the hors d'oeuvre that she brought over. When I tasted it, I almost gagged. "What the hell is this?" "I should be asking you. What's going on, Rose?" I don't know what to say. My food has never tasted like this before." I didn't know what was going on, but it seemed like my food was spoiled. That was impossible. I only used the freshest ingredients, and when I tasted the food before it was delivered, I made sure everything was in tip-top shape, and everything was. So why did it taste like crap all of a sudden? Camille wasn't happy, of course. Her reputation, as well as my business's reputation, had taken a hit. She even had to end her party early because of how things were going, and no one wants to end a New Year's party early. That's literally sacrilege. To say I was embarrassed was an understatement. I didn't know what to do. Of course, Brooke came around to gloat about my downfall. At the time, I never even thought to accuse her of anything, thinking she was just being annoying, because that was just who she was. Royce came to my defense as usual, but the damage had been done. When summer came around again, things were a bit awkward, but Camille was gracious enough to give me a second chance at catering for her party. I was so grateful for her kindness, promising not to let her down a second time. I took extra measures to make sure that the food would be perfect this time around. I hired more professional chefs to help with the catering, as well as spending a fortune on an even better food truck equipped with state-of-the-art technology to keep the food fresh and clean for as long as possible. But still, when the party had been going on for a couple of hours, I saw the same thing as last time. People practically refusing to eat. Now, Camille was properly pissed, and I couldn't blame her. She found me, pulled me to the side, and was yelling. "Okay, what are you playing at?" "Oh no, has it happened again?" "Don't act like you didn't do this on purpose. Do you have a problem with me?" "Hey, okay, look, I know things are a bit tense right now, but arguing won't do us any good." "I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening. I swear to God the food was fine when I was bringing it here." "Bull crap. You're trying to sabotage me, aren't you? Why would you bring spoiled food to my party? Are you trying to ruin me?" "Camille, I can assure you I've been doing this for 10 years as a caterer. I could never bring spoiled food, not even for something casual, let alone something like this." "Okay, let's get to the bottom of this. Rose, are you sure nothing could have happened on the ride here? Like the fridge is not working or something?" "You can even check them out yourself. I had 2 mechanics tell me that everything was in tip-top shape." Just then, Brooke was making her way towards us, smirking just like last time, ready to throw my failure in my face. Well, well, well. "I'm not in the mood for your crap, Brooke. I'm just here to comfort my poor mother. She works so hard for these parties. It's a shame someone has to screw it all up." "Brooke, seriously, now is not the time, okay? This is getting out of hand. I even saw Harry Finkel leave." "Finkel left? Oh God, I'm ruined." "I have an idea. Why don't we check the security cameras?" "What? Why?" "That's a great idea, babe. I don't want to sound like I'm crazy, but at this point, I'm sure someone is messing with the food, because it sure as hell isn't me." "Fine, I guess we have to rule everything out. But I swear to God, Rosemary, if I find out you have done this to ruin me, I'll do it back to you, but 10 times worse." "Camille, if I sabotaged your food, may God strike me where I stand right now." "Let's go check out those cameras. We'll get to the bottom of this." For some reason, all of a sudden, Brooke was trying to get us to stay there and enjoy the crappy party, telling us the party wasn't ruined and that we shouldn't worry about it. She kept trying to keep us from getting to the security room, but as usual, we thought it best to just ignore her, thinking she was too drunk and didn't know what she was saying. When Royce was scrubbing through the footage, I told him to stop where I saw Brooke standing by the food before the party had started. She reached inside her purse, took out some liquid in a bottle, and started spraying it on the food. She got a spoon and mixed it all up, spraying some more, and then closed the dishes. She did this for all the food. We all looked at her and asked her what the hell she was doing. But she was now sheepish all of a sudden. I lunged at her, grabbing her purse, and she was trying to hold on to it. But she let go, dropping her stuff everywhere. I picked up the bottle that was in her bag and smelled it, and it smelled like rotten meat and fish. I almost threw up. It was so bad. Royce smelled it too and also gagged, and Camille was yelling at her daughter, asking her what she had sprayed in the food. That's when Brooke broke down and started crying. Turns out I was correct in my guess. She had managed to get a hold of some rotting meat and used it to sabotage the food. Are you serious right now? Tell me you're joking. What the hell is wrong with you? What if someone got sick or worse, died? That would ruin me. Brooke, I can't even know what to say. How could you? Now we have to put a halt on everything. I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal. You will shut your mouth, Missy, do you hear me? Your time for talking is over. I don't want to hear a single word out of your mouth. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to make sure the food isn't being served. Camille was so upset, she said she was going to call the police and stomped out of the room. We thought at first that she was just saying things out of anger, but soon enough the police arrived, and Camille had turned the drama away from the bad food to the bad company that was ruining everything. Brooke was a mess, crying and kicking and screaming like a toddler, asking how her mother could do this to her. But Camille didn't say anything to her. When the police took Brooke away and Camille had announced to everyone that the party could be resumed, she turned to me and apologized, telling me that she was sorry for doubting me. No, there's nothing to apologize for. How could we have known? You had every right to be upset with me. I just hate that she did this to us. Mom, did you really just get Brooke arrested? It had to be done. Like Rose said, people could have died. I don't take this issue lightly. She's a grown woman, and last time I checked, her brain was working normally. She just chooses to be an awful person, and I'm sick of it. I treated her like the adult she was, so if she thinks she can get away with poisoning people, she should think again. You're right. I'm sure a night or two in the slammer would teach her a much-needed lesson. I'm just glad that my food wasn't the problem. I didn't know what I was going to do if someone decided to sue. I would be ruined. Don't worry. I want to be transparent about everything. People deserve to know the truth, so I'll make the video public and let the people know that if they want to sue, they can sue Brooke. Oof, that's cold, Mom. I second it. I think she deserves it.